Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Tuesday Notary Titans. My name is Jen Neitzel. I am the creator of Marketing for Notaries, co-creator of the Certified Notary Trust Delivery Agent training for estate plan training, and I am joined here today by the one and only Laura Bewer with Coach Me Laura. Hi, Laura.
Hi, how's it going over
I'm
there in your
I'm
part of the woods where it's colder and icier,
freezing. Yeah, it's a
snowy?
solid sheet. The highways are okay, but the neighborhood roads, I haven't gone anywhere since Friday. So I am
Okay. Well,
staying
it's cold
home.
and crispy and overcast here, but that's about it. So we
Yeah.
are it's warm, I guess, in comparison, it's like, I don't know, 45, 46
Yeah, I am
degrees.
it's cold enough where I'm drinking coffee this afternoon.
Yeah, I'm
So
still finishing my hot tea.
we are also joined and supported on this call by Matt Miller, the president of the California League of Independent Notaries. How are you today, Matt? You got your beanie on. Are you cold in San Francisco?
It is cold in San Francisco today. Believe it or not, we do have winter here.
I,
But otherwise, good.
Good. Well, I am glad to hear it. Welcome to TNT, especially those of you joining us for the first time, or maybe you're watching us on YouTube on the replay. A very special welcome to you. You are on TNT, the nation's longest running free coaching program for notaries. You are stepping into today a mastermind filled filled with experienced pros and smart, curious notaries who actually want to see each other win. Think of TNT as the play by play of the notary business. We go live every week to break down what's working, celebrate real wins, and coach you through the strategies that keep your business moving forward, not stuck on the sidelines. Now, you can put your questions in the chat, that's fine, but we give priority to folks that raise their virtual hand to ask questions, and nothing's off limits here. The panel is ready to answer any of your questions, and you can find the raised hand feature at the bottom of your Zoom screen. So while you guys are raising your virtual hands to get in line to have your questions answered, please know that the call etiquette, announcements, and speaker, if we're having a speaker that day, which we're not today, any of that information will be found in the chat. Also, you want to check the chat for any upcoming events and announcements. We'll connect you with those and tell you what is going on in the notary world. Speaking of which, let's go over a few announcements. And if you have not heard yet, our very own Laura Bewer has released a new book. Laura, tell us about The Compassionate Notary.
Thank you. Um, well, guys, it is a compilation of 22 years of doing that kind of work in particular. And I brought together all of the aspects of serving our most vulnerable population in an eco environment that is very different than going to somebody's home. And I take you from parking your car all the way to completion, step by step, on how to best serve them, how to protect the integrity of the signing or document itself, and how to protect yourself, and do it with compassion. So if you're interested in this kind of work, maybe you get called occasionally, maybe you're thinking about doing it, uh, highly recommend that you do that. And you'll have it, if you keep it in your bag, you could just whip out the goat anytime you want.
That's right. Like having the goat in your back pocket, right,
Yeah,
Laura?
yeah,
It's
exactly.
a fantastic book, guys. The link is in the chat. I encourage you to go check it out. It is something you will use again and again and again and again. It's like the perfect textbook for hospital work. All right, we want to remind you that the 29th, that's in what, 2 days, January 29th, the early bird pricing for the National Notary Association Conference this year being held in Orlando, Florida, May 3rd through 5th, expires the 29th. So you've only got 2 days if you want to take advantage of that early bird pricing of $750 for the full conference pass, including all the workshops, gala, meals, breakfast, all the things are included in that. Um, Matt, you announced to us last week about the California notary fee modernization bill, and I know you're going to be talking about that, I'm sure, at your next CLIN meeting. When is that?
Yes, thanks, Jen. We'll be meeting on Thursday, the February 5th at 5 p.m. If you previously registered for this meeting, you'll get a reminder that day. If you have not yet registered, I'm going to put the link in the chat right now where you
Oh,
can
I did the same
sign
thing
up.
at the same time.
Double coverage. I love it.
Go
And
to CLIN.
it's free for all notaries to attend. There will be a recording as well, but it's really important that you show up for these things because we this part of the year we're talking about new bills that have been proposed. So proposals across the country that affect you and your business so that you can get a chance to make your voice heard on those proposals. We're also going to talk for a bit about how you can get engaged with your legislature and push policy, whether that's like what we're doing here in California to raise fees or institute education requirements, bonding requirements, whatever it is. We're going to talk about how you get started doing that. So this coming plan meeting will be very timely and helpful because this is the time of year that bills are hatched, so to speak. So I look forward to seeing you in a couple of weeks.
Awesome. And the registration link for that is in the chat twice for you. We really want you to go. I do want to remind everybody that there is a new reminder email going out every week for this call. If you are not seeing the email 1 hour before the call starts to remind you about TNT, make sure you look either in your spam folder or your promotions folder or your socials folder. It will very likely have gone into your promotions folder. Gmail is now separating these emails out for us according to their algorithm. So if it's not showing up in your main box, check around a little bit and mark it as a main email, and that way it will come directly to you. Or if you want to just set up a reminder email on your calendar every week, we start at 2:15 Central every single week, and the link remains the same. So you guys can just post that link in a calendar invite and add it to your calendar so you never miss us. And lastly, I want to let everybody know that Laura and I will be hosting our next CNTDA webinar all about the estate planning opportunity for notaries on February 5th. And you can register for free if you are not a CNTDA and you're interested in learning about this revenue line. I want to encourage you to come join us. It's free. Hear all about it. You just have to register at Eventbrite and you will get the replay link as well. And I want to be honest with you guys and be very transparent. We, Laura and I are increasing the price on this program. We have added since July an incredible amount of value to this program. And price increases are taking effect um, on the 1st of February. It's 199 right now. It will never be 199 again. So because you're our TNT audience, if price is a concern for you and it's something you've been thinking about, after February 1st, it will be more expensive. So um, we have valuated the program and what it actually valued for, we would never charge you because that would be crazy. But the price is going up significantly. Well, I don't know. Is significantly the right word, Laura?
It is going up.
It's going up. So we just wanted to be transparent with you guys if cost is a concern and this is a program that you want to check out. You've got a few more days before the 199 price goes away forever. We've kept it that way now for about 6 months to give everybody an opportunity to get in at the lowest possible price point. Okay, enough of that. Um, let's get to our questions. Larry, you had your hand up and then you took it down. Oh no, there it's up.
Uh,
It was hiding. It was hiding over. You have like something black on your wall, so I couldn't see it. What can we do for you today out in California?
Hey there. I have a need for reassurance. I think I know the answer to this, but I'm not positive because I've gotten a document for a signing tomorrow. from a regional credit union, well-known credit union. So I'm thinking they should know better than this. But maybe I'm misinterpreting the rule. And it's an affidavit, and like there's the title of the affidavit, then right under there there's a line that says state and county, and then there's a verbiage of the affidavit, and then the notary information, the notary box. And I was going to insert because the notary box is too small, really, to stamp. But then I realized, isn't it a rule that the county and state space have to be in the notary box as well?
So, Larry, if I'm understanding your question, um, a notary certificate for the state of California is continuous. So
Right,
it starts with the notice box, then your venue, and all of the elements all the way to your signature. If
right.
the venue is up in the document instead of in the certificate, then you can handwrite it in if there's space to allow for it. But if there's not space or there's not space for your stamp either, then you would be attaching your own instead. Now, did I understand your question correctly? No.
Pretty much. It's just, like I said, this was from a major credit union here in the city, and it had the venue, I mean, the county and state boxes, space above the title instead of in that whole box. The way, as you said, it should be continuous.
Above, what you're saying is it's above the notice box?
Yes,
That's not acceptable. The notice
that's right.
box comes first, the venue comes second. If
That's what
that's
I
how
thought.
it is, then, and you said there was no room
No,
to stamp it, then you're going to
the-
replace it anyways.
right, exactly. Because it came from a major financial institution, I
Yeah,
was like,
anybody
maybe I
can.
misunderstood. Maybe I was confused.
Larry, I get documents from the state of
Yeah.
California, the state, and they don't have the right wording. So I would say that any organization, any company, no matter how big they are, and even our state of California, we cannot rely on them to provide us the right wording. And that's part of our job, is to verify they have. And if they haven't, do the right thing, which is replace the certificate.
Okay, thank you. I just needed reassurance. That's all.
I know. You would think, but no.
Yeah, thank you.
Welcome.
So it's a great example of a question, though, to bring to TNT. And I love
Yeah.
that, Larry, because we do. I mean, I make the assumption too that other people in these fields are experts and know what they're doing, but experience tells us that that is not always the case. So, good question. So let's get to Alina in Texas. Hi, Alina.
Hi, how y'all doing? I think this question is for Laura. So
Okay.
just tell me what you would do in this situation. There's a situation where there's a seller, but the employer of the seller is selling the house for the employee, and they have asked for documents not to be dated. And, they specify the seller signs and dates only where there's an X. The notary signs and dates only when there's a check mark. I went back and said, I don't care whether there's a check mark or not. I am dating my notarial certificate. But what do you do in the situation where the executed date, they're asking the seller, which is the employees, not to date it? They can't have a different executed date than the date that I notarized the document for them.
Well, it depends on the notarial act. So first of all, if the date and signature, they're part of the document, so I don't control it.
Exactly.
That's
Yeah.
not part of my certificate. If it is an acknowledgement, they can have a date the same as mine or prior to mine if they signed it before they got to me. If it's a jurat, then they cannot have a date different than mine.
I think they were thinking of post dating, not pre dating.
Well, the document can have a post date. It's the signature that cannot be dated that it was signed after I notarized it. So
Right. And
what's
the
the
date, it's
difference?
not the document at the head. It's the executed on this date, this blank day of month and year, and then the uh, seller was signing it.
And so they didn't want them
Date it.
to date it.
Correct.
Again, I don't control the document. I control the notary certificate. If it's an acknowledgement, you could hang your hat on, it's not complete because there's a place for the date, there's a line for it, and you're choosing not to fill it out. And that is not acceptable for an acknowledgement when the acknowledgement has to be complete. That might be a way to go around it when I don't control the information. I mean, even if they put TBD, I mean, they got to put something there for the document to be complete.
Yeah, and they've requested that it just remain blank.
Well, I don't know what you did, but I would be having a conversation with them to let them know I must date my certificate and I'm going to date it the date that they appeared in front of me. Whether they sign that date is not as material if it is an acknowledgement, but it is if it's a jurat and would be cause for rejection by a receiving agency.
Yeah, I mean, I told them I was dating mine no matter what they said because I must date my notarial certificate. But
Right.
it was even like a warranty deed and they didn't want it dated.
Okay, but what I'm hearing from you is they didn't want you to date, and you said, no way, I'm dating it. But what
Correct.
you're also saying is that the signer's signature had a date called for prior to their signature,
Correct.
and they didn't want that dated. And I'm saying that's the part I don't control. But as
Right.
a notary, I certainly can say I'm required to have a completed document to perform an acknowledgement, and it's not complete. If they want to have, thank you, Matt. If they want to have it a different document preparation date, I don't care about that.
They got to have
If
something.
they refuse, then I'm not doing the job.
Yeah, I'm with Laura on this. No incomplete documents.
Mm.
That's what you can point to when someone asks you to do that. And that's what I do.
Yeah,
Thank
it's
you,
time to have a
Matt. Thank you, Laura.
conversation. It's time to have a conversation with them, Alina.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you both.
It's the hard part about being a business
Yeah.
owner, right?
You have to have the fortitude to say, no, we're not going to do this way.
Yeah.
And if
So,
they need to have they're planning to fund everything at the end of the month, they can do something else, but that's not how they're going to do it.
so has anybody else noticed somebody on the call? Matt and Laura, have you noticed somebody in the chat giving answers because she just can't help herself?
I
Jen's
have.
on
It's
the
so good
call.
to
Hi,
see Miss Jen
Jen.
Cooper.
Jen Cooper's
Oh, our
here.
special
Hi, you
hidden guest.
guys.
Yes.
How is everything going at the NNA? Jen
Oh,
used to be the support on this call as well, and she has recently taken a job at the NNA. So how are things going, Jen? We miss you.
I missed you guys too. It's a little slow today, so I thought I'm going to sneak in and see if I can get into
Yay.
TNT. As calls popped up, I've just been muting you, but it's nice to see you guys. I've been sending people from here to you, so I hope you're getting some. Jen Cooper
Hope so.
from NNA sent me.
I hope so. Yeah, I'll
Yeah,
have to start checking. Let us know if Jen Cooper recommended this call to you in the chat. I'd love to see that.
thanks.
Well,
Yeah.
we're glad that you had a few minutes to sneak
Yeah.
it in and hang out with us, Jen. We miss you every week.
I miss you too. Thank you. It's good to see your faces.
Good to see you too. Brian, is this Brian in California?
Yes.
Hi, Brian in California. What can we do for you today?
I had a question about when uploading scans, do you put a password protection for Adobe Acrobat or you just send it as is to the signing service?
Completed documents.
No, when you upload it,
Right, but you're uploading completed documents? Is that what you're uploading?
yes.
Signed and notarized documents? You need to have some kind of security on that.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, so Brian, let me just put this in perspective. You're scanning back, let's say, a mortgage loan application that has a person's everything from their social security to their bank account information to their credit card numbers to, I mean, every bit of personal information is on that loan application. If your account is hacked and it's part of a security leak, you've just leaked all of that information and they can hold you accountable for that. And I'm guessing you don't have a system in place to cover yourself if that happens as a small business owner. So it is imperative that you are sending things password protective.
I tried doing that, but it's keeps getting
Practice,
kicked back to me on this one
practice.
signing service platform.
What do
Well,
you
then
use?
you need to call them and ask them how you can send how you can send the documents
Yeah.
back securely, that your practice is you do not send things without them being password protected,
Okay.
period. So you just need to let them know that they need to give you, and they may have like their own secure portal that they give you a
Mhm.
link to
Yeah.
upload it, but you need to have that conversation with them instead of
Okay.
just sending them along and hoping for the best. We do not live in that world anymore.
Nope.
It's too easy to
Okay.
access our information. I mean, anyway, but please protect yourself, Brian.
Okay.
What are some secure document? So Adobe, when somebody asked Ellen in the chat, asked for some secure emails. What's the one that a bunch of notaries use? I can't think of right now, Matt. What's it
Isn't
called?
it My Documents or something like that?
Or Genius. I think some use Genius.
Our records. That's what I was
Our
thinking of.
Our
records,
Records,
yes.
You.
that's it.
Thank you, Amy. Thank you, Kirsten. They knew exactly what was on my mind. Yeah, check out our records. You can just do a simple Google search and you'll be able to find different products. But if you're already using Adobe, Brian, it has that built in, and there's several others too. Do a quick Google search and see what you can find that meets security requirements and also your budget, because each of these obviously come at different price points.
Okay.
Awesome. Great question. And that's another good reminder. That's why I love this call, right? It's another good reminder for everybody. You need to be using secure emails to send things. All right, guys, who else has a question for us while we are raising hands? I'm going to pull up our question sheet if I can find it. Oh my gosh, I have too many things open. Let me know if we have any hands up, guys. I'm looking for this question sheet. I forgot to pull it up. Ah, Asia has a question. She's got her hand up. What can we do for you?
Hi, I just want to piggyback on the last question.
Okay.
So, were you guys referring to having the documents secured with a password if we were like emailing them to title companies versus like uploading them on SnapDocs or signing order? Is that what you mean by having it secured?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, those upload portals are usually secure, so we don't have to worry about it so much. But
okay,
if we're just sending it over, like in an email, we need to password protect so nobody else can open that PDF that's been created.
got it. Just making sure. Thank you.
You got it. I'm looking to see. I need to be better. I need somebody from Notary Stars on this call to send me what you guys use to collect questions, because this one is too hard to read. Let's see.
I have something if you need.
Yes, please.
Okay, great. Here
Tap
we
dance
go.
away.
This was presented to me last week. We talked about this on Inner Circle last week, but I thought we would share it here. So this is a certificate that was presented to me, and I have two questions. One is for everyone. The first thing I want to know, and put it in the chat, is what kind of notarial act is this? What is this certificate calling for? Put it in the chat.
Mhm.
Oh, I didn't know we were going to have a pop quiz today. I love it.
Yeah,
Mini lesson, baby.
yeah.
All right, good, good, good. So Jill, Pam, Faith, Gina, Cheryl, and 411 Notary. You're right. This is an oath, right? There's a few in there that think it's a jurat, but let me explain the difference. So this keeps coming up, and we're going to keep hammering it until everybody understands this. An oath can be a notarial act by itself, all alone. And that's exactly what this certificate is asking. It is asking that the signer, the personal representative up there, was given an oath, was sworn to the contents of the document before signing. Now, a lot of notaries will see the word sworn and they'll just automatically assume it's a jurat. But remember, a jurat calls for two things. It calls for signing or subscribed and sworn before me, which it means they signed it and you gave them an oath. But this one doesn't really call for me to watch them sign, but it does call for me to give them an oath. So that was the first question. The second question is for California notaries, since we have a lot of California notaries on here. Could I use this certificate as presented to me? Put it in the chat.
Am I disqualified?
No, you can play along. Could I use, as a California notary, could I use this certificate as presented to me? Great, lots of no's, lots of no's. Why can I not use this certificate in front of me?
Wrong?
What's wrong? What prevents
Yes.
a California notary from using this certificate as it's printed?
The disclaimer box.
Nope.
Not required for an oath.
Capacity. There it is. Kristen from SoCal. That's right, honey. This asks for me to certify that they are a personal representative of the estate, which I could not use. So what did I do? I called the title company and I explained no capacity. And they're like, yep, we forgot. Sorry about that. Just strike the last line. And we went with the rest of the certificate, and that was fine. So stuff like this pops up from time to time, guys, and I want you to be prepared for it when it does so that you aren't lost in the moment. So this is an oath, and if you're a California notary, you would not be able to certify that capacity, but if you're a notary in any other state, you could have used it as is.
I love.
I'm sorry, Jen. I want to add that a venue is not a requirement for an oath, although this one has one. It is the only notarial act we have that is unformatted completely. There's no requirements as to what elements it needs to have. It just needs to have some kind of statement that they're swearing that something is true. It's a promise, a spoken promise of truthfulness is all an oath is. And I don't have to identify them in California. It's not a requirement. Although, of course, wouldn't everybody do that anyways, so that you have good information in your journal? And of course, it doesn't require a signature anywhere because we're not certifying we saw them sign or they said they signed. So those are all the different things to consider. The other thing I want to bring up next level here is the way the oath was written could not perhaps be used by California, but if the oath was written differently, which was the person swore he was the personal representative of blah, 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 then I'm not doing the certification. So with an oath, it could be very easy to flip it around so that they're taking the responsibility to certify what they represent instead of me.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see what I'm saying? So sometimes when representative capacity is needed in a certificate, and this could happen in an acknowledgement as well, where the wording is, and these are out of state, the wording says that he said he was that, he was named in the document that way, he signed that way, where the signer carries the responsibility of self-certification, not the notary. So you want to read some of these out-of-state documents carefully because you may replace when you didn't have to. But you really have to read their wording to say who is certifying, the notary or the signer or customer.
A great example of what Laura is saying is you may see something that says Matt Miller, who swore to me to be such and such capacity, right?
Mhm.
They're swearing it to me. I'm not certifying it for them. So you could use that if it was written that way. This one wasn't. We modified it to make it work, But yes, as long as you're not making the certification as a California notary, you
Yeah.
might be able to get away with using a representative capacity in a certificate.
So
Now
Matt,
let's get some hands up.
I love this example. Um, and I want to take this a step further. So this comes to you, this document comes to you with, you notice this certificate as you're prepping your documents for your signing. Let's do a little role playing. I'm gonna be, was it title?
Sure.
I'll be the title company, and you're calling me as the notary assigned to this closing, and you're going to professionally let me know that there's a mistake in the notarial certificate. How do you approach that? Because that's a big, ugly, hairy thing to do, right? As a business owner, and having listening to someone like yourself who is so professional in that regard is helpful, right? It helps you start thinking of ways that the language that you can use. So let's play let's play pretend.
Sure.
Let me go get my tiara. I'm just kidding.
You have a wand
I
too?
did I need a wand and a tiara.
No,
Okay.
hey Jen, it's Matt Miller. I'm here in Marin County with Mr. Steiner. And well, actually, no, I'm going to back it up because I did call before. Hey Jen, it's Matt Miller in San Francisco on this seller package for this afternoon in Marin County. I'm prepping my documents, and I noticed in the gap agreement, it's calling for an oath, which is fine. But the certificate also includes representative capacity, him signing as the personal representative of the estate. And you may or may not be aware, but in California, we are forbidden from certifying any capacity or title or representative capacity. I was wondering if you would prefer I use another certificate or if we could modify this current certificate to make it work.
I've never heard of this before. What's the big deal? Why can't you just, it's a notary certificate. Just stamp it.
Yeah, I understand, but California has very specific guidance and administrative rules around this. They do not allow their notaries to certify someone's capacity in a certificate. So that line that talks about
This is
him being a,
ridiculous. I'm never using you again.
well, I'm sorry to hear that, but I'm calling you beforehand so we can resolve this and move forward with the signing. So I need an answer.
I love that. Fine, you talked me into it. That was amazing. Like you didn't even break, I mean, you bridged all the things in that first couple of sentences so they knew exactly why you were calling. And I look at all your you're getting all kinds of claps there. But it's so or Kirsten pointed out,
Yeah,
Kirsten at Notary
nobody
Stars, or
else
they
does
say
it.
all the other notaries do it for us. Like, what if they did say that? Everybody else does it for us. What would you say?
I would say they're probably misinformed, and the rules are very clear.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's so intimidating, isn't it, to have that kind of conversation as a business owner because we're so careful about protecting our relationships. But hearing you say that to me, I don't know about you guys, tell me in the chat. To me, it made it sound like, wait, that's not a bad thing to say. That sounded great. Like you didn't sound negative, you didn't sound desperate. You didn't sound any of those ways. So that was awesome. We need to role play more often. Um, next time I'll bring my tiara. Tanzania has a question for us. Hi, Tanzania.
Hi everyone. Hi Matt.
Hi.
Thank you so much for bringing that question.
You're welcome.
I did have a follow-up question to that though. So in California with oaths, in that situation, the we're basically notarizing their signature still. Is that right? So would it be wrong to attach a jurat to that?
Yes, because that document is not calling for a jurat. It's not calling for me to witness their signature and give them an oath. It's simply calling for me to give them an oath for that document. So if you put a jurat on it, that could be interpreted as the um, unauthorized practice of law, because then you're determining the act when the
Right.
act is already
Got it.
stated as an oath. And the oath doesn't have to be any specific language. I just have a standard. I have keep it in my journal, or actually I keep it on my phone now because I use electronic journal. And I just simply said, look, this one has an oath on it. You see that word sworn right there? That's exactly what I say to the signer. And I say, so just raise your hand real quick. You solemnly swear or affirm under penalty of perjury the contents of this document are accurate, true, and complete to the best of your knowledge. So help you God. They say yes, and we move on. It's very, very easy.
Perfect.
You say that
So
fast like
in
you
that
said
situation,
it
you can
before,
stamp that
Matt.
He
document
says it
directly.
all the time. Yeah.
I know.
I say it all the time. What's that, Tanzania? What was the last
So
question?
in this situation, you can stamp that document directly here in California.
Yes, once we took out the representative capacity, yes, I used it just as is. I just struck the last line that called for representative capacity.
Okay, got it, got it. And when you struck the line, did you write your initials and date it, or you don't have to do
That I
that?
did,
Okay, got it.
and I
Okay,
put in my
perfect.
journal instructed by title.
So, Matt, uh,
Yeah.
uh, let's just say that we weren't able to use that. And of course, notaries will have jurats and acknowledgments in their bag. Um, I'm thinking through the options for the notary when they just can't use it. They can't modify what's there. And they need another option. What would be another option would be get permission. Here's what I have. Would a jurat do the job for you to replace it? So somebody else is making the decision. But I don't know if everybody realizes is that the NNA does have like generic oath certificates where it's just an oath that we could use if we had to, if we couldn't fix it as you were able to.
Yeah,
Sometimes
I
the
mean,
spacing doesn't allow. Yeah,
exactly. And I have actually one time I hand wrote the line sworn
I've had
before
to do
me,
that.
right? I
Mm,
just wrote sworn before me. That's it.
that was it. I hand wrote it. I don't need a lot of space, but sometimes they don't even give me space for the darn seal. I mean, I could squeeze in tiny print, sworn before me by this person, and then there's no room for that. So then I really need another piece of paper. And so at that point, if I'm trying to stay with the same notarial act, know that you can create it yourself, or you can go to the NNA and download it as a member. They don't have it under the state of California. They have it. Gosh, they have it under states. I don't know why they don't have it under our state particularly, because it's not a mandated act. So that means there's no mandated wording for it. But think about well, they have a jurat with that. But I'm thinking of the format, how they just have blank lines and then the notarial act that they call
Oh,
that
that's the
with affiant statement.
affiant statement.
Yeah. So the statement is really whatever the document is, whatever's printed for you, if there's something printed. Uh, that's the affiant statement part. But underneath that, instead of having a jurat, you could create, a sworn before me, put a venue in, make it look all official, and then sworn before me by in a blank line to put your customer name in there, and then you have room for your signature and your seal so that you're prepared. I don't know if notaries realize that you have the power legally to create your own certificates. You just have to verify that they comply with mandated wording. So that would be acknowledgements, jurats, and proofs. But the oath doesn't have mandated wording. So you have a little more freedom there.
Yeah.
Well, Tanzania had a follow-up question. Are we allowed to stamp that oath as well? I
The
have never
notarial
seen.
act.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure. Stamp
And
it
you
too.
would record it in your journal because it's a notarial act.
Absolutely. Well, let's get to a question from our submitted question sheet. I
Yeah.
finally scrolled all the way down to the new ones. Recently, I had a notarial act for a quitclaim deed for a property in Virginia. The language on the acknowledgement was not the same as California. So I'm assuming this quitclaim
California
deed
person.
in Virginia was being signed in California. So I did the California acknowledgement and then paper clipped it to the document. The customer is concerned because she says the lawyer said it's preferable that the Virginia acknowledgement is used. But I know I cannot notarize that. She submitted the document and hasn't heard back. But I'm wondering if this should work. I mean, it worked for a New Hampshire property where I used a California document. I just wonder what you think, and I'm looking for confirmation that I made the right choice.
So I would first want to know what was wrong with the Virginia wording.
It just
It,
said
it
the
doesn't
language.
say. It
Yeah.
says she knew that, but the reason I'm asking that is that just because it's another state's acknowledgement doesn't mean I can't use it. I'm just
It,
looking for representative capacity.
yeah.
Now, if the warranty deed was with a jurat, then of course we have to replace it. Then she couldn't use it.
Well, so my biggest takeaway from this is she hasn't called back. And
Yes.
that's what lets you know you've done the right thing, right? Because people will call you back all day long and say, you messed up. They'll point fingers, they'll try and throw you under the bus. But when you get something right, crickets, right? I mean, that's just human nature. So that kind of tells me that you haven't heard back. That probably tells me that you did the right thing because otherwise they'd be all over you to go get that fixed, right?
And
Uh,
it is a good thing, a right thing. When you do not believe you can use the certificate presented to replace it with your own like certificate. And you don't switch it out for a different kind, but the same kind of certificate. Um, that's what you would do when you're in that spot and you just can't figure out. Of course, I wouldn't just do that as my practice. I'd be looking for reputable resources like the hotline to verify my thought that I couldn't use it
Yeah,
or I made that decision.
that
yeah, no news in
hotline.
this. I'm sorry, no news in this business is usually good news,
Uh-huh.
but it's important for notaries to know that all 50 states and U.S. territories
Reciprocity.
have reciprocity laws where they have to accept a notarial act performed in another state so long as it was performed in accordance to law of that state.
That state.
Oh, so Matt, I was supposed to say dang,
Oh,
not danger. I was trying to get sooner. It auto-corrected to danger. It doesn't like the word dang it in the chat. Sorry. Carla, you're in California, aren't you?
Yes, I
Yeah.
am.
Carla has a question for us. What can we do for you,
Right.
Carla?
Yeah, I've been trying to ask this, but anyway, it's a question and a follow-up question. I recently I've been getting this request for a door knock. What is it? And any one of you have done this assignment?
What's it called?
Door knock.
Okay.
yeah. I mean, a lot of these door knocks, drive-bys, what are else they're disguising them as? Those are inspections, right? Typically, inspection companies, real legitimate inspection companies, will send you out on an inspection. And it could be taking pictures of signage, it could be going in and interviewing certain officers of the business, it could be um, knocking on doors to see if somebody's living there, it could be serving papers. So I would caution notary. I'm not going to say you can't do these types of things because yes, you can, but I would caution notaries on these types of jobs because your notary bond and E&O insurance is not going to cover this work. That's not notarial work. And you need to evaluate your risk level of knocking on doors unannounced, of walking around properties taking pictures, of going in and talking to COOs and CFOs and that sort of thing about what they're doing with the money the bank that gave them. That's what this type of work is. So if you're comfortable with that level of stuff, and I've done inspections before, I just don't enjoy doing it, so I don't take those jobs normally. But there is a different level of risk and involvement with this work.
Excellent point. Excellent point. Yeah. I'm not a big field inspection fan either. Laura, have you ever done any?
I did. I used to do them. I mean, we're talking like 10 years ago I did them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was, they were, mortgage, what were they called? It's like a one guy office in his bedroom was doing mortgage loans from there, an originator, I
Brokers.
guess.
Yeah, I'm very.
Yeah, and so they wanted me to go there and inspect the room to see that they had a shredder. Did they have file cabinets that were lockable? Were they practicing good security around the documents and that the room wasn't being a shared use room? Right. So those were the things. And then I take pictures of that and send it in. And they were probably, I mean, they were like $50 jobs. They weren't, anything big, but they didn't take all that long. I did that. And then I also went into businesses to do the same kinds of things. Sometimes they were actual business structures. I don't do them
Thank
anymore.
you. Yeah, I'm just being cautious about this, not knowing what it is. And like what you said, Laura, the fee is very minimal,
Yeah,
but it's just curiosity and knowing what it is. Thank you.
Mhm.
welcome.
Did you have a follow-up question, Carla? You said you had two
That
questions.
I had the follow-up question.
Okay.
Who, who among you has done a door knock?
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
Thank
Yep.
you.
Well, if anybody wants to offer any more advice on inspections for Carla, that is what the chat is for. So feel free to send her either a direct message or post something in the chat. Rachel in Orange County has her hand up. Hi, Rachel.
Hello there.
How are you
I
today?
submitted my question via the form also because I didn't know if I was able to make it today. But I was looking at something on SnapDocs, and before I was able to say I was available or whatever, it popped up with special instructions, and it says, note that the signer has an expired driver's license with interim driver's license. Per the signing company, the notary will accept. And I'm just kind of like, I did not click I understand and accept the even telling them I was available anymore. I'm like, I don't think you can demand that of us, but I kind of wanted people's feedback on that.
To me, it sounds like someone is taking advantage of their position and telling you, forcing you to do something that, I mean,
Right.
just the fact that they put that on there lets me know that they know it's not the right thing to do. Why would they do that
Very,
otherwise?
it's very clear for us, Rachel. A
Yeah, I
interim
was like, I
paper
just want
permit
to
is
see.
not on the acceptable documents list. Now, I don't know about other states. Maybe Laura can pick up from there.
Well, yeah, but if she got it, it was for California.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So the location
I
was
just
going to
kind
be
of like,
California.
I'm like, maybe it would fall under the okay if it was issued within a certain amount of time but was currently expired, but like that still didn't sit well with me because they say they have the interim driver's license. They might not even have that other one. My partner recently got his CDL and they actually took away his picture ID because it's going to be a completely new ID that they issue him. So he only has a piece of paper and his passport right now. Um,
Yeah, there's
but I'm
another
like,
one.
yeah.
So for instance, a driver's permit that a teenager gets,
Yeah, they said
that's not
interim,
on
which
our
I'm,
list. Driver's permit
oh,
on our
yeah.
list. It's not acceptable.
Okay.
Yeah, in California, there's a very specific list, and if it's not named, the answer is no.
All right. Excellent. Yeah, I did not continue saying I understand. I'm available for this assignment because I just did not even want to deal with that.
Mhm.
And that's
All
the
right.
wise choice to make. I want everybody to hear this. This is going to sound a little crazy at first, but it's okay to say no to a job if they're asking you to do something that
Mhm.
you know is not right. You are allowed and you should turn those jobs down if they are not willing to listen to reason and fact and go look this stuff up. It's okay to say no. And that's when we say not everybody's your customer, that's what we mean.
What I mean.
That's exactly what we mean. Some people you just have to say no to. And I know that for a small business owner, that's like you just, I mean, every time I say that, I can literally picture like dollar bills like flying out the window, right? But you are going to come across people that are not, um, they're just not good, right? They're gonna, they're going to come from a bad place. And if your instinct is telling you this isn't right, I 100% of the time would advise you follow your instinct. It's not worth the $50 or the $100 that you might make on the closing, right?
You could offer an alternative solution, right? Does he have a
Mhm.
valid passport? Does he have two credible witnesses with valid IDs? All these other options that we have available to us if you want. But sometimes it is better to say no.
Yeah,
And
I'm just
sometimes
getting
you
started pulling or accepting assignments from these platforms. So I couldn't even see the details until I click I understand. And I'm like, I understand what you're saying, but I'm pretty sure I can't do that. So I didn't even want to proceed with the
Yeah.
finding more information.
You made the right choice.
yeah.
Thank you.
Made the right choice. So good for you. Pam in SoCal has a question for us. Hey, Pam, how are you today?
Good, thanks. Similar, if I had a client that his license had expired, but he had already renewed it and he had the receipt and the paper, is that you still
That
don't?
paper doesn't do anything. It's not on the
He just
list.
hadn't received his new one in the mail yet.
I know, but if he doesn't have the hard card, the answer's no.
Okay.
Unless it was issued within 5 years.
Yeah, I can't remember.
But that's all
I have to go
that
back.
happens
Yeah,
next to never, right?
right. Yeah. Thanks.
Good questions. All right, I've got one more on our list that I wanted to, where'd it go? Okay, this one I'm very interested in Laura and Matt's take. I'm really starting to work on my business a little more. Before I get into the nitty-gritty, I need to figure out who my target customer is. I do mostly loan signings. Is my customer Service Link and Signature Closers, etc., or is it Chicago Title of Wisconsin or ABC Law Firm of Georgia that hires the signing service? Or is it Joe Signer that I'm meeting face to face in Tennessee? Or is it some combination of all of the above? With general notary work and trust, to a certain degree, it's more clear cut, usually, but not always. So, who is the target customer when you are working for a signing service?
So I guess I need to know, what does she mean by a target customer? Um, the hiring party, if you're looking to market, it's your hiring parties that you're looking to market to,
Yeah.
right? So that's going to be title companies, and that's going to, or escrow, that's also going to be signing services. That's going to be actually direct public for mail-aways. Sometimes people get these loan signings directly and they get a letter that says, find your own notary, here's the requirements. I mean, so it can be a combination of those. So your signer isn't necessarily who you're targeting, it's who hires the notaries. That's who you're targeting. And she named some, or he named some, in the question to go after. And then the other thing that I would say is, they don't have to be local, right? They can be, these signing services and these title companies can be national companies, and they serve the whole 50 states.
Yeah.
And so when they have a signing in your area, that's when they would utilize you.
Yeah, and I think a good rule of thumb is the person that can answer any questions that you have or clear up any mistake that you might stumble across, or is the hiring party. That's where you go
Yeah.
first in the line of succession there. If you received an order from a signing service and it originated from Chicago Title, but it was SnapDocs that hired you, you go to the original hiring party first. Matt, what do you have to say?
Well, I mean, I personally think everybody's your target, right? You're building your
Yeah,
business,
yeah.
you're going to approach signing
Good point.
services,
Yeah.
you're going to
That's
approach title
all of them.
companies, you're going to approach law firms, you're going to approach people in your neighborhood, your friends, your family, people you used to
Hmm.
work with. Everybody needs a notary, and you can be
Hmm.
that person.
Yeah. Very good point. Very good point.
But I would be systematic about it. I think that the idea when someone says, well, I don't know who to target. Well, yeah, what does that mean? Everybody's my customer. I think you need to have an idea of who you're going to at least seek out. The other ones may come as a result because you're visible, with a Google profile or a website or a directory listing. But if you're actually, when we're talking about you are going after the business, then you want to look at um, it's hard to target the public because you don't know who's getting those mailaways. You're going to get them in another way. But when you're targeting, now we are talking about a select kind of business, which are title and signing services for the most part. But not all signing services and not all title companies are my cup of tea. Right? I don't work for all the, I don't want to work for the ones that only want to pay me $50 to go out there and do it. So they're, even though they're a hiring party and they're in the business I'm looking for, they're not my customer.
Exactly.
Right. So I say, this is the group, and then I start narrowing it down to, they send me to jobs that are, within 30 minutes. They send me to jobs that the pay is commensurate with the work level. You know what I mean? You start looking at those qualifications, and then you start saying, I don't want to work for this one, and I don't want to work for this one. When they ask me to perform something illegal, oh, they're not on my list anymore. You want to have boundaries set.
Yeah.
And now you create your own sweet spot.
Mm-hmm.
And it means you might take jobs at first and you don't know that's how they are, and you find out, and then they come off your list.
Yeah. You are allowed to make changes in your business along the way.
Absolutely.
The more you know, right? The more changes you are going to make. When you know better, you do better. Our last question today comes from Joanne in Washington State. Hey, Joanne.
Hey, everyone.
Hey.
Along the lines of the oath, right? So I just wanted some, I guess, wording or feedback is when you've quoted, a direct customer, and then you get there and then you see that particular document, it says duly sworn, which is an oath. I guess, like, how would you bring up, like, hey, this is an added fee?
It depends on a couple things. One is it could say duly sworn in the top, and there's a jurat, and it isn't an extra fee because the oath is part of the jurat anyways. It is a separate fee if you're charging separately for the oath when it's an acknowledgement at the bottom, because they're asking you to do two different things. Now, in terms of how do you bring up work that was not described to you properly on the call, before you do the work, as soon as you identify the issue, that's when you say, okay, when we talked on the phone, you said there was going to be one document, but I see there's actually 3 places in this document that you're going to have your name notarized. That is going to be 3 times whatever your fee is for notarization plus my travel. And you get that worked out before you go further. I wouldn't say it at the end and say, well, now you owe me this much more because now you've already done the work, right? And if they're not going to agree to it, you want to find out the sooner the better.
Perfect. Thank you, Laura.
Matt, how would you handle that? Any differently?
Well, if you have the privilege of getting the docs beforehand, that's great. But sometimes you don't, right? So you just have to explain it to them the same way you explain the charges for a jurat or acknowledgement, right? This is an oath. I have to swear you in before you sign this document. That is a notarial act. The fee for that is also $15. And I'm assuming in my example, you're going to charge the client direct for that. But if you need to charge the hiring company for that, and you don't find out until you're at the table, you complete the signing, but you send them an email and say, look, there were 3 additional O's in here you didn't tell me about. The charge for that is going to be whatever your charge for it, and see what they do. You have to at least ask.
Sounds good. Thank
I
you.
like it. I like it. Thanks for that question, Joanne. And thank you guys for spending another Tuesday afternoon with Laura and Matt and myself. It was fun having Jen Cooper pop in again and seeing her. I want to remind you that we have a Zoom survey that pops up immediately after this call. If you would be so kind as to take a couple of minutes and let us know your thoughts on this call and what we could do to improve it for you. Your opinion absolutely matters to us. I'm going to close out today the way I always do by putting Laura on the spot to close us out. Laura?
Gosh, This time you really did put me on the spot. But while I'm tap dancing, I just want to say I appreciate that we were joined by several Notary Stars team. I saw
were.
Manuel, Kristen, Amy. Those were the three that I saw who joined our
Yeah.
call today. And thank you for joining us today. Now, I'm going to just pick a card, any card, and see what it says. It says that I breathe in the fullness and richness of life, and I observe with joy as life abundantly supports me and supplies me with more good than I can ever imagine.
Love it. Have a fabulous week, everyone. Thank you for being here. We'll see you next week.